This is not sexy, but it gets you results, especially with cold approach. So yeah, look, I'm in a high frequency state right now, what I would call godly frequency. And the only intention for this video is to transfer what I'm feeling into you. Because I know how difficult cold approach can be, right? Especially if you're not a beginner anymore. You're walking outside, you might be doing 2 or 3 approaches. Maybe you're not getting the girls to stop. Maybe conversations don't go anywhere. Maybe you're getting phone numbers, but the phone numbers all flake. And you're thinking to yourself, what am I doing wrong? So what I want to do in this one is I want to give you a battle-tested blueprint for getting the results with daytime cold approach that your efforts deserved. And the reason why this is not sexy is because most guys won't do this. Most guys will hear what I'm about to say and they'll think, fuck that, mate, I ain't doing that. But this is what drives results. When guys are working with me one-on-one, the biggest shift I get them to make is taking more conscious volume, okay? Putting more points on the board, because one of the reasons why guys don't get results with daytime cold approach, which is having conversations that convert into dates and beyond, is because they're not staying out in the field long enough for the momentum to kick in. This is the key, right? Because even for me, in between filming sessions today, I did an approach, right? I did an approach. This beautiful girl dressed in all black on her way to work, had a box and a pastry in a fucking box. I approached her. I said to my friend who's behind the camera, my first approaches of the day are usually shit. That approach that I did today, it actually went really good. She was super receptive, super into the conversation. Even though she had a boyfriend, she was playing with her hair, she fucking loved it. The reason why I'm telling you this story is because what's happening with a lot of guys who are going out to approach is they're taking a long time to get that first approach done. Or they'll do 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 approaches at most, and then they go home, right? But the problem with this is you're not staying out in the field long enough for the momentum to kick in. Cold approach is a transfer of certainty. Getting results with cold approach comes down to your internal frequency, because internal state equals external reality. Whatever you're feeling in the moment, the girl feels. But the problem is, when guys are first approaching, especially those first 3 approaches of the day, what they don't understand is it's not really them in their conversations, it's their conditioning. You know, like when you first wake up in the morning, you just rolled out of bed, your brain's depleted of oxygen, you're not really feeling like yourself. You need time to warm up to the day. You take your cold shower, maybe you do some meditation, maybe you walk outside, you get a coffee, you start to feel that momentum kicking in. It's the same with daytime cold approach as well. But what happens with most guys, my friend gave a perfect analogy. What a lot of guys are doing when it comes to daytime approaching is it's like going to the gym, doing the reps, and then as soon as it starts to hurt, then they go home, right? But it's in the pain where you're gonna see the progress. So what I say to all my clients, as a general rule, what I want you to do one day this week is go outside and do at least 20 daytime approaches, because I am an absolute psycho. I'm an absolute maniac when it comes to driving results to my clients. I will run through a brick wall to get my clients the results that they want. But one of the biggest unlocks I make for my clients is getting them to do more volume, putting more points on the board, not going home until they've done at least 20 approaches. Because what you'll start to realize, the way you start is not the way that you finish. When you're first in your cold approach conversations, because like I say, when I'm out in the field, my first 3 approaches of the day are usually shit. I go out with the intention, when I'm doing these big days, right? Because me and my friend who's behind the camera, we're gonna do a big session this week, right? I'm gonna take him out into the field and we're gonna do at least 20 approaches each. My mentality, the first 3 approaches that I do, they're sacrificial sets. I don't attach any importance to them. My only mentality, let's get rejected as fast as possible. Let's get these first 3 approaches out the way. If I get phone numbers, if I get dates from them, happy fucking days. But the point of these first 3 approaches is to break the social ice with yourself, to get yourself into the game. Something else you can do before you even do any approaches is just do some form of social freedom activity. If you've got a friend with you, record each other in public. You can do push-ups in public. Like, you've seen me do this so many times in London, in Milan, in Barcelona, doing push-ups in public, inviting the social spotlight onto you. You can have your headphones. Yeah, this is something that I do all of the time, right? Because when I wake up in the morning, I'm not really feeling it, right? So what I do, before I talk to anybody, before I approach any women, I put my AirPods in, I walk through a busy area, I pretend I'm on the phone. I do a fake phone call. This is one of these underrated activities to get you into a social flow state, right? Put in your AirPods, walk up and down the street, pretend you're on the phone to somebody, pretend you're taking a client call, get your vocal cords firing. But one of the biggest unlocks is doing more approaches per session. Because if you're only doing 2 or 3 approaches right now, you're still in that comfort quicksand of complacency. It feels easy, it feels comfortable, it feels manageable because you're not a beginner anymore. But what happens for me, when I've done about 7 or 8 approaches, now I start to find my flow. Now I start to feel as though all of the bullshit, all of the fear, the sedation, the compliance, it starts to get stripped away, because this is what I'm doing for my clients. When guys work with me, I'm allowing them to remove their social blocks so they stop feeling like a closet heterosexual. Even if you've been approaching for years, that first approach of the day, it always feels a little bit awkward. That first approach that I did today, approaching this smoking hot girl who was on her way to work, she had a pastry in a fucking box. I felt my voice was too high. I felt nervous. I felt apprehensive to do the approach. But because I've been in this situation so many times, I understand the way I start isn't the way that I finish. I give myself full permission to suck at the start. And this is what I explain to my clients. Progress with daytime cold approach is non-linear. So you could have a great session today. Maybe you go out today, you do 20 approaches, you get 7 phone numbers, you feel like the guy. Maybe you go out again next week and for whatever reason, you just can't find your flow. The conversations are not sticking. Maybe every girl tells you she's got a boyfriend. This is not necessarily a you problem. It just is. Daytime cold approach, it's an emotional roller coaster. But one of the best pieces of advice I can give to you is when you're approaching, keep going until you've done at least 20 approaches. For some context, when guys work with me one-on-one in person and we're together for 3 days of one-on-one in-person coaching, they're getting pushed into over 100 approaches in 3 days. And what I say to all my guys, one approach with me is worth 100 approaches on your own, because I can mic you up, I can give you real-time feedback, I can give you conscious feedback on your body language, your tonality, your level of closet heterosexuality. This is how my clients turn decades into days. This is why I continue to get the best client results in the industry, because we make sure that the action our guys are taking is conscious, but the biggest unlock is just putting more points on the board, right? Let's say you go out today, you do 5 approaches, keep going. Another big mistake that I see with my guys is they can get high on their own supply. You might have had it before where you walk out into your city center, first approach that you do ends up in a phone number, right? And then usually what happens with guys is they think, job done, I've got my phone number, I can go home now, I can chill. Now, if you get a phone number first approach, that is an indicator the universe is on your side. That is a sign that the day game gods are looking down on you. Take that momentum and then transfer it into more approaches, because this is the whole game right here. It's a game of momentum, right? You want to be stacking as much momentum as possible, so it's unreasonable for you not to succeed. So if you go out today and your first approach goes well, you get a phone number, go transfer that emotional state into the next approach, into the approach after that. Because what I was saying to my friend is, once you've got through those first shit approaches, maybe for you, maybe you're similar to me, the first 3 approaches are usually throwaways, you're not really feeling it. Once you've broke past that initial suck phase, and now you're in godly frequency, which is the removal of doubt, it's the removal of fear. Now you're truly connecting with women as your true, authentic self, right? Because when you're approaching women, especially at the start of the day, it's not you in your conversations, it's your conditioning, it's fear, it's sedation, it's compliance. But when you've hit godly frequency, which is the removal of doubt, it's the removal of everything that isn't you, you then allow her to connect with the real you. Because what a lot of guys don't realize about cold approach is oftentimes when you're speaking with a girl, it's not really her you're talking with, it's her conditioning, because women are conditioned as well. Women have been conditioned to believe certain things about different parts of the world, of people, etc. So when you're in this social flow state where you're free from all of the doubt, from all the conditioning, she's getting that true, authentic version of you. And this only comes through reps, getting a lot of points on the board. So what I would say to you, the next time you go out to approach, do what me and my friend are gonna do this week. Set the intention, 20 approaches minimum. And obviously it's easier if you've got a wing with you. This is another thing that I do for my guys. When guys work with me one-on-one, they don't just get me. They also get connected with my global network of like-minded action takers, entrepreneurs, business owners, visionary creators, because you'll learn quickly that daytime cold approach is not a solo sport. It's a team sport, and it's also an extreme sport. So when you're out there and you're in the field, stay out in the field long enough for the momentum to kick in. Because what a lot of guys are doing, it's like going to a boxing class, going home after the warm-up because your legs started to hurt. Stay out in the field until you've done at least 20 approaches. Because what this is going to do is it's going to put you into this godly frequency state where you can experience social success in advance. You won't give a flying fuck what people think of you. And this right here, this is the real you, right? And this is what I found to be true with all the guys who I've worked with, by going from where I used to be in 2020, which was addicted to porn, erectile dysfunction, looking like a turnip, dressing like a moron. everything we do in life is for the feeling that it gives us, right? It's a feeling that you're searching for. And when you get to a level with daytime cold approach where you've got more women than you know what to do with, you can get dates on demand with wife-worthy women in every city that you visit. This is the reality my clients are now living. When you get to this level, you're not cold approaching for the women anymore. You're cold approaching for the feeling. And this is why daytime cold approach is the most aggressive form of self-development. When I'm out there approaching now, I'm not approaching for the women. I'm not approaching for the validation, for the approval. I'm approaching to get this sensation of aliveness, right? And this is what all the guys who I work with, once they know, once they've become the most abundant version of themselves, remember, abundance is not always having, it's knowing you can have. When you know you can get as many dates as you want with as many women as you want, it stops being about the women anymore. One of my business mentors said it to me best. He said, Christian, the day you no longer care about making money is the day you'll make the most money that you've ever made, right? So when you're going out to approach, especially when you're no longer a beginner, it stops being about the women. It starts to become for the feeling, this feeling of aliveness, this feeling that you can achieve anything, this feeling that no matter what happens, you can handle it. And this is why I love daytime cold approach so much, because it doesn't matter how much money you're making. It doesn't matter how ripped you are. It doesn't matter how confident you think you are in your business, in the gym, in your overall mindset. Everything is easier than doing approaches. And I've done so much stuff in my life right now. I was a lifeguard in the USA in 2017. I've been training martial arts since 2024. I was a magician at 13 years old. I've solo traveled to over 30 countries. I'm building this personal brand online. Nothing has improved my character, my confidence, and my charisma more than daytime cold approach. So if you want to develop this ability to feel like the most fuckable, socially free version of yourself, if you want to have date lines up, if you want to have dates lined up with the sort of women who turn heads as soon as you walk into a venue together, focus more on the amount of approaches. God, my voice is cracking. Focus more on the amount of approaches you're doing per session, because if you hit 20 approaches, you'll get to the end of this session and it'll be the best day of your fucking life. I call it a renaissance day. You get to the end of the day, you feel exhausted with accomplishment, especially if you're doing it with a friend. You get to the end of the day, you laugh about the approaches that went shit, you talk about the phone numbers that you got, you talk about your car crash conversations. This is the game right here. And for me, it doesn't matter how much money I make. It doesn't matter the level of woman I'm able to attract. It doesn't matter how big I get on social media. Daytime cold approach will always hold a mirror up to the man who you are. Everything is easier than doing approaches. So if you're a guy right now, maybe you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're a business owner, maybe you're like the guys who I work with, where life is going well, but you feel as though you've gotten soft. You feel as though you've lost your edge. You feel as though you've lost that spark, that feeling of aliveness that made you successful in the first place. Get outside, do 20 daytime cold approaches. And if maybe you're new to cold approach, maybe you still feel like a closet heterosexual, maybe you worry what people think of you. I don't know you personally, fuck knows what you're scared about. But what I've done is I put together a 4-hour cold approach course. It's called Conversation Killer. It's the only course available that not only teaches you how to properly approach, but it also teaches you how to have cold approach conversations that actually convert into dates. Because a lot of guys, they don't have approach problems anymore. They've got communication problems. They don't know what to say. Their mind goes blank. They run out of things to say. When they compliment a girl, they don't know what to say after they open. So if you're somebody right now, you want to master the skill of daytime cold approach, you want to have cold approach conversations that convert into dates and beyond, first link below this video, you can get Conversation Killer. It's completely free. Guys are always like, Christian, why do you give away all your information? It's not because I'm a good Samaritan, it's because I give away information, I charge money for implementation. When you eventually work with me, I want you to already have the foundations in place. Before my clients work with me one-on-one, they've already watched Conversation Killer. They've already gone out there, they've already attempted to do cold approach. I take guys from good to fucking outstanding. So first step for you after watching this video, you're gonna do 20 approaches this week. Yeah, no excuses, no bullshittery. 20 approaches in one session. But download Conversation Killer, first link below this video, and that will give you everything you need to get started and get the results that your efforts deserve.